on the history and the future of our country. And I must say that as much as I have already indicated the appreciation that I have of the contribution that has been done by President Motlanthe in the context of the government of national unity, allow me also just to indicate to you something that is very important. It's a very serious note for me, Mr. Chairman. Yes, it's about lives that were lost, but more critically, it's about lives that are still endangered by the future. The vanguard is mentioned in the commission. There is a counter narrative to say that there is vanity. Meanwhile, Chamisa is certificating them for their superb violence, which draws fatality. Already, this is the spokesperson to Mr. Mnangagwa. Who is Mr. Mnangagwa? Is the man who has set this commission. So if you are preempting this commission, if you have an answer already, if you have a conclusion already, why even bother? Because it does put a dent and a blemish on the integrity of the commission. And I don't know what is going to be done about this to assure me that this is not going to be just by the rubber stamp. To assure me that this is not going to be but taken as a way of just wasting people's time. Because we need to be assured that indeed this process is going to establish the truth and nothing but the truth. So I just thought I needed to highlight the issue of Comrade Jaranta. But not only that, Honorable Commissioner, I also want to know why and how and when Mr. Mnangagwa is going to be invited to this commission. If it is a question of witnesses having mentioned names, like what happened with my name, that Mr. Mataga just mentioned my name, why is Mr. Mnangagwa, who was mentioned by his own general, not also before this one? Why is he not before this commission? Because he was a candidate. And what criteria has been used to invite me without inviting my brother, E.T., as they call it? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for now, so it must be done to Emerson. So that there is an understanding of fairness in how we do it. Yes, I know that there might be a bit of a problem in terms of him being the president and having appointed the commission. But still, there has to be that narrative from him so that it completes the picture in terms of how and where he was mentioned. Not only that, Honorable Commissioner, I must say that I'm really excited. That as it might appear that we had a situation where we lost innocent life, we must also understand that it has brought to the fore the fundamental issue that this nation is broken, that our politics is rotten, that violence is at the center of our politics, violence which is institutionalized, election in, election out. We cannot transact an election without violence, particularly violence from the state. And that is the issue that we are confronting. And that is the issue that we want to deal with. I must say that it is clear from what I've seen that all the years, and I will not go into what Mr. Leete has already given and what others, I'll waste your time, Honorable Commissioners. It's very clear history is replete with examples of how we have been victims of violence. I, for one, I was left for dead at the airport having an attack by people who are not at the international airport. Can you imagine, Honorable President, having been attacked at Oliver Tambo or Aratambo, and there is not a single person who has been arrested today? If anything, they are actually trying to cover up that matter. That matter go to the Commonwealth, nothing has been done. I'm just one of the many cases of people who have been arrested, people who have been harassed, and people who have been left for dead. That is the nature of our politics. I was left for dead again on the 11th of March. Mr. Beatty narrated the ordeal. And I must tell you that the person who saved me that day was Professor Madu. Because when my turn he had come to be thrashed and to be thoroughly detailed, Professor Madu entered. They said, no, let's wait, let's focus on this man whom we must deal with because he has a hot head. Referring to Professor Madu. And the situation was terrible. I sustained serious injuries and I was in hospital for almost like a week. From there, I then had to proceed to Brussels because I was going there for both treatment but also for the parliamentary assembly. And I was attacked in the airport and left for dead. I still have those visible marks which are there. They've been attacked in broad daylight. Nothing was done, guns were used. And this tells you the story of being a Democrat, the story of being, the Constitution is our gun. That's why we always go to the constitutional platforms to try and articulate and deal with our issues. Honorable Chair, I must say, for the record, my hands are clean. My conscience is very clear. My resolve is unbreakable. And my heart is pure. These hands you see have not spilled blood. The mouth you see here has never conspired to have a life that is lost on the basis of political violence. I've said that violence is not part of our DNA. And whosoever chooses violence will always repel. That has been our position. And we've stated that we will not walk or swim to state out in a sea of blood. That has been President Tsvangirai's position. That is our position. That is the position of the NDC. But what is the paradox? Honorable Chair. The paradox in all this is that the allegations that are being made by those whose names are unclean. And why are they doing so? They are doing so as a way of running away from their culpability and their complicity. We have law and order in this country. We have law and order agents and mechanisms in this country. If there is any crime that has been committed, the solution is not to kill, but to arrest. If there is a citizen who has done anything criminal, the duty is to the law and order institutions to arrest and not do what was done on the 1st of August. So I must indicate this in the context of the 30th of July, because I can tell you that the first time I got to know that there was something untoward in the city was when I was called by the then Home Affairs Minister, Obedumpo. And I was shocked because he has never called me for years after the inclusive government. I only used to meet him in the context of the inclusive government. And I said, Mr. Minister, what can I do for you? Because I'm busy in prayer. He says, no, I've called you because I've seen your people who are destroying property of my party. I said, my people? Do I own people? Who are these people? He said, no, I suspect that there are people because I can see they are putting on red. I said, Mr. Let me tell you, you are saying they're destroying property. Once a person starts destroying property, is a criminal. You don't need to call me to say that you must restrain your people. Is there something that you are up to? Why would you make such an allegation? What are you trying to do? I had a big scoff when he said, look, Mr. Chamisa, we want to talk to you because I've been instructed by my boss. I said, who is your boss? He said, the VP. I said, what has he instructed? He said, no, we must talk if there's any problem. I said, I don't talk to people who want violence. I talk to peace-loving people. That's what I was actually doing. You know, he says, no, he's actually here or because I could hear the voice. I said, no, I don't have anything to do with you. Then I see the phone. I was worried at that point that what could be happening. I then tried to check with my youth chairman. I said, what is the problem? Is there a problem in town? He said, there's no problem. And if you can go to the 1st of August and check on my call, there was that call from Coffee. Then I called my youth chairman and said, what is this thing? Is there anything that you have said? No, we are not doing anything. There's nothing that we are doing here other than that people are just waiting for the result who are doing the part of voter calculation. I said, fine, that's okay, because somebody called me that there's a problem. Is there a problem in town? He says, not that I'm aware. I then, at that point in time, checked with a number of people who told me that there were some problems in town, but it was not yet quite serious, because the guns, I think, had not been fired and the army was not yet there. But it was clear that I think there was some bit of a problem. What shocked and worried me was that Mr. Kofi then called me. If these people were doing whatever they were doing, they were supposed to be arrested. Because the police were there. But the calling was obviously a choreographed way, with hindsight, of trying then to say, you are responsible, you might have sent those people. But why would we do something? So I will address that in the context of our issues. Let me go to Then we go to the 31st of July in Congress. Honorable Chairman, I really appreciate this platform because this platform gives us an opportunity to just indicate what the people know, what ZEC know, what Mr. Mnangagwa knows, that we won this election in particular. Why do I say so? I will tell you the reason why I say we won this election in particular. Because that is what gives me moral comfort. Because further along, we will all know all about it. And further along, we will all know the truth about it. We had the power of voter tabulation. And by midnight, because the presidential election results were counted first before any other result, by midnight the election result was known across the whole country. We also had our own way of assessing that result. Mr. Mnangagwa knew the result. And the result was very clear. With 2.674 and 32,000 votes. Mr. Mnangagwa at that point had 2,008,639,000 votes. That is the result that we managed to get on the power of voter tabulation. That is the result that was on the sale of ZEC. My lawyer, who is seated on my right, wrote to ZEC to say we want the result that are on the sale. Because we had heard from our own election act that they were not willing to go to the sale, but they now created an Excel spreadsheet. So they wanted an alternative. This was on the Wednesday, where they wanted to create a parallel platform where they were now beginning to calculate the results. But they already had results that had been defined real time. And honorable commissioners, I must say that the strength of our measure when we went to the constitutional court, where we wanted to be declared by way of a relief the winners, was because we had a primary evidence on the server. And this is why we issued a subpoena. I actually had that subpoena which we did apply for. But the registrar and the constitutional court denied the opportunity to us to have the subpoena of this server. I actually have a subpoena here, and it will be important for the commission to just let it go. That level, that subpoena is the one that was going to subpoena the server and indicate the results that were punched in real time. Now, the server works in this way. If you try to tamper with the server when you punch in the result, it will freeze. So what then happened was that we could not announce the result from the server because of those issues. We know this because, you know, I've been the Minister of ICT. I know how these gadgets work, and I can tell you that this is authoritative, and this is why this is given before the court. Mr. Mnangagwa, in his affidavit, does not deny the issue of the server. He even said that the server was there, but it was tampered. This is on the court papers, and this is the story which has not been told. So as far as we are concerned, we got 57.10%. Mr. Mnangagwa got 42.10%. By other parties that participated. Why is this important? This is so important in the context of any other subsequent development. Because then we won the election. We knew that we had managed to beg victory. And it was in the bag, there was no need for us under those circumstances to do anything that would then cause unnecessary challenges in the context of our country. I could have gone into how the figures were inflated and the methods that were used. But I don't think that it would really help you. But for whatever it's worth, it must be brought to your attention that there was 4 million ballot papers that were printed presidential after the 30th of July. And that can be validated as part of our papers and what we have said. And this information is known by Mr. Motlanthe. Why were these ballot papers being printed? They were being printed because wrong results were going to be announced. ZEC's figures could not tally. There was no tally between the parliamentary and the presidential vote. There were differences in the V11 which were being altered, by the way, between Tuesday, Wednesday. There was evidence across the whole country of V11 forms that were being altered. There were missing polling stations that were not accounted for, and also there were problems of certain results not being processed outside the polling station as required by the law. So for us, we're very clear that we've won this election. And whereas Mr. Bibi says we believe, because he used very tenderized language, we won the election and we have it on authority that we won the election. Now, I must also take this opportunity just to highlight that the right to vote is the most important vote. The reason why we went to the liberation struggle was because we wanted to assert that right to vote. And the right to vote is the reason why some of us believe that Operation Restore Legacy was all about the right to vote. And that's why some of us were in the street. I actually had raised a rally in IQ in support, having been sent by Dr. Kondrat, in solidarity with ZANU-PF. The only thing which confused us was after that successful rally, certain of the ZANU-PF officials were beginning to backtrack on that collective effort. And they were beginning to say that it is a ZANU-PF affair, when in fact we thought that it was a collective national effort that meant to restore democracy in Zimbabwe. Let me go to the 1st of August before I respond to your specific question, Madam. Honorable Commissioners, the 1st of August is a very sad day in the district of Motlanthe. Very regrettable for me. But the way I see it, and allow me to see it the way I see it, it was a preemptive measure to avert what they expected to be a response from those whom they robbed of electoral people. It was so managed, what I would call a managed explosion, as opposed to an unmanaged explosion, calculated to forestall any kind of protest, especially in the context of results that would be doctored or not made. It is very clear when one has regard to the V11 form status, the 4 million ballot papers that were printed, and this was all availed in our papers in the court. And I can tell you that the 1st of August, the way we see it, it was designed to be a platform for the release of a fake result and justify a protective attack on innocent citizens. It's not an accident that the election was the election result. Sorry, Honorable Chair. Thank you very much. I'm just being told that this year, again, was on unofficial break. Exactly the address on the Chair.
That's Chinese in a iPhone.
What are the days is bigger?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I was just making the point that the fake result that was released was then designed in the context of a preventive attack. Why do I say that? It's not just on account of what they've said. If you look at the EU report, for example, which I have here, in terms of their just executive summary, and I may quote the paragraph, the final result is announced by the Electoral Commission contained numerous errors and lacked adequate traceability, transparency, and verifiability. May I just repeat, the Honorable Chair? The final result is announced by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission contained several errors and lacked adequate traceability, transparency, and verifiability. Finally, the restrictions on the political freedom and the excessive use of force by security forces and abuses of human rights in the post-election period undermine the corresponding positive aspects during the pre-election campaign. And we so agree, the pre-election campaign were challenging, but they were better than the previous second. As such, many aspects of the 2018 election in Zimbabwe failed to meet the national standard. This is an EU report. This position is validated by the Commonwealth. This position is validated by the NDIRI report. I would have gone into the nitty-gritty. It's important because what it then does, it speaks to the concerns, anxieties that we had and we always articulated in the nation. In the context of 1 August, Honorable Chair, Mr. President, it's important to understand that this was done way ahead of the deployment of tanks and water canoes at the MDC headquarters on the 28th of July, on a Saturday. A curious mind would want to know, why would you deploy tanks and water canoes at Harvest House and not at Zambia headquarters? These are both political parties that are in an election, but you have already deployed. So you have already worked on a presumption that is going to be a demonstration or something that is going to come or emanate from one party or the other. There is no justification. We try to inquire through our lawyers why that was done. There was no explanation. One would also want to know why, when there was this violence on the 1st of August, certain people attempted to change the cause of death, especially trying to convince the relatives of the deceased that let the cause of death be stab wounds instead of gunshot. Why would that happen? And why would the BPGN result was announced when everyone else was removed from town. And of course, as I'm being advised by my legal practitioner, the election result was not announced as per the law, constituents by constituents. It was just a blanket announcement. I must also say, Mr. President, that there was supposed to be verification and validation of the result by the candidate or the chief election agent of the candidate. That did not happen. In fact, my chief election agent was told to wait in a particular room at HICC, including my legal practitioner. As they were waiting there, they were told that the election results were already being announced. And this necessitated my chief election agent to go and take the platform, which was being used by ZEC, and to announce that the results that are being announced are fake and have not been validated. This is all common thought. And I say it because it does tell a story of where we come from in our own perspective, in the context of what is developed. Now, I must also take this opportunity to indicate, Honorable President, distinguished commissioners, that the MDC, as a matter of record, and the MDC I'm stating here is the MDC that is in the country, the legitimate one, and I'm its leader. We did not give any instruction to demonstrate on the 1st of August. I want that to be understood. When we make decisions to demonstrate, we are an organized party with organs and structure. We are structured. We don't just wake up and say, go and demonstrate. There have to be meetings. In our own case, we have a National Standing Committee, which is the top leadership, that has to meet and recommend to the National Executive, which is the second organ, then the National Council. So decisions are not made nicodemously or nocturnously. They are made in broad daylight, and we always inform the police. We have demonstrated before, we are going to demonstrate again, as we are going to demonstrate on the train line. And the reason why we are demonstrating, we know that it is a legal tool, a democratic tool. We are Democrats, we use democratic tools. And demonstrating is one of the constitutionally enshrined democratic tools that we have to use. Just like the Constitutional Court, if we can appeal in terms of Section 93 and also Section 156 of the Constitution. Those are the tools we use to defend our vote. And we said it over and over again, that we will defend our vote. We didn't say you will defend your vote. We said we will defend our vote. Meaning we said that we, the leadership, will take a leadership role in defending what would We will do it and we will continue to do it. Up to today, we are defending that vote. And we will continue to defend the vote because the people voted and the people spoke on the 30th of July. Does the MDC condone violence? We don't condone violence. In fact, in the past, we have displayed people who have exhibited tendencies of violence within the party, either in settling disputes or other issues. We have tried to then deal with those things. And I can tell you that if we had actually called for a demonstration on the 1st of August, you would not see the few hundreds of people you saw. We are a big political party. When we call for a demonstration, it can actually bring the entire of Zimbabwe to a standstill. But we have sparingly called for demonstration as a way of saying, let us dialogue on this issue. We use it as a way of trying to persuade our colleagues in Zambia to come to the negotiating table, to discuss our national issue, to also try and massage their arrogance, to try and say, let's come together and work a way forward for the people of this country. Because Zimbabweans have suffered 38 years of suffering, 39 years of suffering. People want to at least have them live some kind of a way of going forward. So I must say that in terms of where we are, no one deserves to die on account of commission by ZEC or commission by Zambia. This has happened in the past. We did not hope to have that kind of situation in the context of 1 August. And I must say, I'm so disheartened that up to today, and having listened to the police commission, no docket has been opened. A docket to deal with the problems, especially considering that on the 1st of August, the whole CBD was full of police officers. They were supposed to arrest whoever broke the law. They were also supposed to deal with all the people who were there. And then on that basis, you will be able to know the character identity of individuals. The people who were arrested at Harvest House are actually not demonstrators. These are members of staff who were busy doing thorough voter tabulation in Harvest House. They were busy working on and the police, when they came to Harvest House, they did not ask for guns, they were not looking for guns, they were searching for computers. Because they wanted to take all the evidence of our current. This was on the 2nd of August, I'm sure, not the end of the 1st of August. So I must say that, whereas we had reservations about the process, we were committed to pursue all the legal means and practice to make sure that we avoid the situation of having certain forces instrumentalizing protests as a pretext for a trade down on citizens or on the opposition. Now, I'm not going to go into the history of violence in this country. I think that has been touched upon. Even in my own context, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I've mentioned the point that it was unstrategic for whoever, as a citizen. Of course, they retain their right to demonstrate. But I genuinely believe that it was unstrategic to demonstrate, especially in the context of our victory, which we're just waiting to be confirmed. Section 66A of the Electoral Act allows a thorough voter tabulation to be undertaken. It also allows people to have a collection and a collation of the tallies from the various polling stations. Though it does not allow announcing a result, you can have a kind of a relationship with what you are getting from the various polling stations. Mr. Mnangagwa tried to indicate that after he had seen that I indicated that we are receiving good news from he tried to quote me. Of course, it's not new. Every time I do something, he copies. And honorable commissioners, I must say that for us, this election was very meticulous. We had an anti-rigging mechanism. That's why we had issues around the printing of the ballot paper and all such other mechanisms that were put in place. So we knew that there was no way our victory was going to be impaired or violated or negated. All we wanted was just a validation as per the law by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. But this did not happen because the ZEC did not act constitutional in terms of doing what they were supposed to do. And this is why we thought that by going to the Constitutional Court, they then get relief. But we did not. And such is the nature of the justice system. When you go and you don't win, you don't then leave the truth because you have not won in the Constitutional Court. We still insist on our consent because we have impeccable evidence of the situation and what happened. What is the character of the MDC? The MDC is 19 years old. On the 11th of September, we attained age 90. In these 19 years, we have never held a gun. Not because we do not have capacity, but because we do not believe in the politics of guns. What has torn some of the African states is war. What has torn apart some of the African states is violence. That's why we have taken the high road to peace. With all the consequences, the scars we have, the various graves that we have incurred, we are committed to peace. And this is why we must understand that the MDC at no point did it sponsor, sanction, or even condone violence against anyone. We are victims, particularly in the context of setups and choreography, wins. Do we have an armed win? I've met many ridiculous things in my life. But to allege that the MDC is a military wing, and for the Zimbabwe National Army, to even suggest that we could have an army beyond the Zimbabwe National Army, is bizarre. The only army we cherish in this country is the Zimbabwe National Army, which is the People's Army. As MDC, we do not intend to have sideshows. The reason why I participated in this election is because I thought that there was a vacant. A vacant to be the head of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Constitutional. And that's why we participated. We did not participate because we wanted to be the head of Vanguard. Why would we go to an election if we have a Vanguard? Vanguard was just a youth establishment to try and create young people who are disciplined. They are not a military, as far as we understand. They were there during the time of President Sangara. When I came in, there was a problem with Coupe and others, Mutena. And we realized that it was becoming a weakness because people were beginning to blame things for what they call the Vanguard. So we said, we don't want to hear about this anymore. And these are members of the Youth Assembly. Now, Mr. Charamba then makes the point that Mr. Chamisa gave a certificate. Members of the Youth Assembly who were given a certificate for being upcoming in young include also some of the members who were in the then Vanguard. It does not mean that we're given Vanguard and it's still an existing structure. It's not. It was just an organized young people who were trying to educate each other on discipline. That's what it is. And you know that if it was something else, the state would have destroyed it. Professor Madubi knows the committees of our colleagues. They would have managed to flush it out. They would have known by now if they were really the people who were in charge of August 1, and there's no need to then try and manufacture, engineer evidence, and do all sorts of things. Do set up. By now, we'd be having people who are arrested, who have been arrested. Our police force is one of the best. I'm proud of our police force. When they do their work without political interference, you'll be shocked. I'm proud of our armed forces. When there's no political interference, they are one of the best armies in the whole world. And such is the confidence we have in them. So at no point would we cast aspersions on a people's army, because the Zimbabwe National Army is a people's army, our national army, and we want the best from our army because they are there to protect us and to make sure that they are the protectors of the people as we move. Allow me, as I seek to conclude so that I don't waste a lot of your time, perhaps I'll give you more time in person, to say Does the MDC even have having a security wing? We do not want it, even forced security. We do not want them. We have said we do not want any kind of a thing that is misconstrued to be something else. That's why our young people are the ones, as Marshall, who always provide our security in demonstrations and public meetings in the interest of peace. We believe in democracy, not thugocracy. Honorable Commissioner, what do I mean by thugocracy? A rule by thug. People who are in the habit of using thuggery to persuade or coerce people into a particular election. It's a political science term. We are not a thugocratic party, we are a democratic party. That's why our name is Movement for Democratic Change. And we've always said we insist on the politics leading the gun and not the gun leading politics, which we believe is becoming a problem in this country. We have said that the politics of this country must be the politics of the ballot, not the politics of the bullet. And it must not be about whoever is keys to the hammer, but whoever is keys to the hearts of many Zimbabweans. So yes, I went to this election to be given a constitutional mandate. There has been a dispute on this election. We verily know that the power of a nation in a state comes from the people. Legislative authority comes from the people. Judicial authority comes from the people. Executive authority comes from the people. That's why we went to the people. We run the risk, Honorable Commissioner, of elections being emptied of their meaning in this country. Where people participate in elections but they know that there's going to be a predetermined outcome. That kills democracy. That is a threat to democracy. So we hope that this commission will restore the integrity of the electoral processes. Over and above the issue of making sure that violence is not really ever again, particularly state-sponsored violence. And also ZEC would make sure that they respect the Constitution, because they did not respect the Constitution. And our biggest problem in this country are state institutions which are not respecting the Constitution. So we have constitutions without constitutionalism. And that is where we must be going. Going forward, there are fundamental questions being asked in the country. Yes, we have made a commission for the sad and tragic death of the 6 Zimbabweans. One life lost is far too precious. But one is asking, what about the 20,000 people who perished in Matabele? These are some of the questions people are asking. Because we must have a holistic approach to the issues as we go forward. And these are questions that must be answered. Yes, we need to do justice for the sick. We also need to do justice around the role of our military and the army in this country. Let our army be confined to the barracks. Let there be a respect and honor to our military in the proper context, just like other modern democracies. We must de-villagize our military and demilitarize our villages. We must make sure that our military is the badge of honor, because to serve in the military is the most important of honors for any citizen. But to be able to do that, we must restore full democracy. And full democracy on the basis of what we fought for. One man, one vote during the liberation struggle. I still raise my case, Honorable Commissioners. If there are any questions, I'm ready to answer any questions. I'm there to truncate my submission because I realize that time is of essence, and I need to make sure I also do justice to you. I know you've been working the whole day. Mr. meeting was long. I realized that I was there for almost 3 hours. I'm sure he did the bit on my behalf. Well, before I answer, I just want to appreciate your understanding of that, so that I can give you a very comprehensive answer. Thank you. I'm just saying this because we want to contextualize this. And I don't want to be given vague and embarrassing questions. I want questions that are valid, and so that I give you value. Okay, thank you. And I appreciate that they watch some of the rally. I'm very honored. Thank you very much. And I hope that they appreciated how excellent my campaign was. Thank you very much. And I hope it will come as a question so that I'm able to give you answer. So that so just to do justice to you, because you said so the person I respect for me to contextualize that perhaps your understanding was not properly located in what I said. If you look at the data research, the context, it was in the context of making sure that well, this statement is very clear. This statement does not say to people be violent on a particular day, in particular the principle. It does also not say that be violent to the extent of shooting people. I don't take this to say I'm the one who incited those who use guns to then kill people. Those have no capacity to incite any sort, especially to be violent or to use violence against people. So whatever statement I make is almost like a Boram Sango statement.
Boram Sango statement meaning you can vote for another
If I may also say, it's almost like the statement illegal. What does it mean? I want to just say that Director SATA is supposed to be a finished product. Now, you can't say that you put sending the SATA to use alone when the SATA has not been prepared. You only are able to then put the send in the SATA post a declaration of a false result. That is the content. So we could not have done anything before the announcement of the result. We could only do something after the announcement of the result. And what we did is constitutional. We have continued to do that. That's why we went to the Constitutional Court. What did we do to put saving the SATA? We delayed the inauguration of Mr. Mnangagwa. Saving the SATA, we have confused Mr. Mnangagwa's plan to have an elaborate scheme of building the election. To the extent that up to today, if we were to whisper to him, well, how many votes did you get? You say, I was declared by the Constitutional Court. That is the sent in the SATA. And we are very clear about that. Sending the SATA is to make sure that you will not have it your way if you rig an election. It was conditional upon declaring a false result. And what we did after the declaration of a false result is known for all to see. We went to the Constitutional Court. We are in the African Court even now. We are even continuing to talk about political dialogue. We are engaging the international community to say the election in Zimbabwe is disputed. Something is rotten in Denmark. In this case, something is rotten in Harare in Zimbabwe. That is our position. Thank you.
I have a few points that I would want you to clarify. I think you must intend with me. The first one was made on the 9th of June 2018, when I think this week the video that we did, we were able to say that if anything is to be 50% of the job, then the whole country should be taken fast. Is it translation?
Well,
I'm also sure that
no, it's a false phrase and it's a false question. But I'm not so sure it was. I would never say such a thing. I mean, to talk about setting the whole country on fire. If anything in the context of percentages, I've said, if Mr. Mnangagwa get that percentage, I would give him my sister. But to say that the whole country will be set on fire, what kind of well, I don't know the context of that. Perhaps you got a doctor, the evidence, I'm not sure what evidence you are using, but I would have wanted. That's why I've said to the commission, please favor me with the statements that are alleged to have been said by myself. You have been my lecturer. You know that I'm not that stupid. I'm sure I know that. I would not say such things in your statement. And they would have arrested me. They would have arrested me. Or they would have summoned me to just say, Mr. Chamisa, you said something. What they have done it in the past. But that was never said, and that will never be said by myself.
Thanks for that clarification. Other aspects that requires clarification is that there is another one you want to bring.
In fact, on that one, Dr. Manuel, I just want to say, on the contrary, statements that should have caught your eye in your imagination are statements from the former government. You said that soldiers will shoot people in the and that's what happened. Mukupe, who is the senior official who was the former deputy minister of finance, also said that Chamisa, the soldiers will not allow Chamisa to be a head of state in this country. Yes. They will do whatever it takes to make sure that this will be done. Now, when you say, Mr. Chamisa, you said that the whole country will be set on fire. Was the whole country set on fire after the round of the election? If the whole country was set on fire before the announcement of the election, it had nothing to do with me because I only spoke in the context of the announced election result. From an old statement, it was never said.
Where they seem to, you seem to have said that there will be more demonstrations. And that, if there would be any resistance there, would shut the whole country down. What I'm looking for is probably the interpretation of the time.
Dr. Manuel, we don't need any interpretation. I'm armed with this constitution, and I must read for the benefit of our great commission. Section 59. Every person has the right to demonstrate and present petitions, but these rights have to be exercised peacefully. Every person includes you and me. You can demonstrate both of us. If we have anything we are not getting about, it's allowed as per the Constitution. So demonstrating is not a problem. Demonstrating and demonstrating is a problem. Because I'm a lawyer, so I want to make sure that the law is always covering me. I would never utter a statement that I know a law is not going to be present. And I'm also one of the finest lawyers in the country. It's known, but that's why the police always also want to be saved. Because it's one of the finest lawyers. Section 67. Subsection 3. You take subsection 2D, paragraph 2. Subject to this constitution, every Zimbabwean, and that includes Mr. Chamisa, that includes ABC people, that includes Zanzibar people. Every Zimbabwean citizen has the right to participate individually or collectively in gatherings of groups in any other manner in peaceful activity, influence, challenge, or support policies of government or any political or whatever cause. Our cause is political. Yes. And we will always use this constitution to advance that cause. I listened to Mr. Mnangagwa over the weekend. He knows that the constitution does allow us. You are saying, Mr. Chamisa, I feel the new democracy, you are abusing it. I said, you are not for the Christmas. Democracy.
This is total critics.
That is very difficult for me to speculate, Madam President. It's very difficult. I can't speculate. If it was ours, I would have told you that the reason why we demonstrate was because of 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would have told you that you would not even ask. You would have seen a sea of red in the city. You would have seen ourselves as leadership. We don't do things where we are not leading from the front. We do not believe in that kind of leadership. But just to emphasize that, I wouldn't know what the cause is, but I've already articulated in my submission. But I would only guess that perhaps it was a well choreographed thing to try and create a platform for destabilizing the announcement of the result. Because we were winners. Why would we want anything that disturbs the announcement? And frankly speaking, I was actually not in the city, and I was somewhere where I was doing my issues to do with faith. And I had a reasonable confidence that this election, it was just a question of time. We were just waiting for announcement. And at that point, Mr. Mnangagwa was sending emissaries to me to say, let's talk. But I was saying we will only talk after the announcement of the result. I was looking for you because I was clear that we have won, and he now wants to kiss me because I've managed to win. I said, we wanted a hug and a kiss before. You turned it down. Now let's wait for the result. We will then discuss after the result. And you will see that we actually send a kit to that effect that has been trying to get it back.
I wouldn't say that there was very much available on the agency in the area. And the agency to remain, and they were attending so much, they want Chamisa, and they're also saying how much of the experience with you and the also
Well, first thing, leaders don't kill supporters. Supporters kill leaders. So I wouldn't know who's Mr. Mugabe, for example, shocking, said on television that he was going to vote for me. But I was so shocked because I didn't expect to have that kind of a vote. But I could not run away from the vote because you don't choose voters. Voters choose you as a leader. So for you to know who was in town, who was demonstrating and they were saying we believe in Chamisa. It might have been even people who were genuinely believing that they were two major candidates, Mr. Mnangagwa and Mr. Chamisa. And in Harare, if you drop a stone, 98% will meet an NDC support. It's a fact, it's not. So I wouldn't know, somebody who sympathizes with the NDC. But I wouldn't know who was there, who was protesting, or who was demonstrating. Those who were demonstrating and protesting were not doing so at the instruction of the NDC, or at the instruction of his president, or at the instruction of his organs. If anything, we were all preoccupied with making sure that we have all the evidence in place. We have also validated our part of voter tabulation, which we already had, but we wanted them to see the proper evidence in the various polling stations. So the center of focus was polling stations, not the CPT. But the CPT was not in any way going to help us in making sure that we get the security of the result and the security of the vote. I'm sure you answered.
Just one question. These people are making this supporters. One maybe just clarify why would you think Zanti supporters would then go and destroy their party premises where they
Well, I would say It might not have been unclear. It might have been people sent by other individual forces who wanted to justify instability, to justify the killing of innocent people. For a broader strategy, which I don't know what it was. But the bottom line is that I would not authoritatively say that these were MDC supporters. And just also say, well, look, I would not choose to define or confine your mind. But I think in asking the question about demonstrators, you must also ask about the killer. Demonstrators are supposed to be dealt with in terms of the law. If they broke the law, they must be arrested. But they must not be killed. Life is so sacrosanct, it's precious. And I think the center of focus, if you have to honor those who died, is to say who kills those who died. Including women who were shot in the back. It was not even a frontal attack. It was in the back to show that they were actually running away. And just as a matter of fact, Madam President of the Law Society, I can tell you this. Not a single MDC supporter, as we know in the structure, was part of the victim. These were innocent people who were just in the system, who were assuming that it was MDC, as I have heard from certain people who want to advance theory. Why would MDC hire people, bring demonstrators, shoot at them, kill them, to achieve what? Honestly, for what? We have never used the blood as the fuel to drive, and we will never use blood as a reason to be involved. Never. That is what happened. I can tell you, not just as a politician, but as a man of faith. That's why I use the Bible. Because one other thing you must know is that I am a man of my faith, the Christian faith. And I'm not ashamed of it. When I say I believe in this way, I believe in the word. I don't believe in spilling blood. I don't believe in killing. I don't believe in violence. It is against my faith, as it is against my creed, as it is against my belief. I don't believe
Thank you very much, Mr. Chamisa. This is my first time of seeing you in person. I'd like to thank you for your attention to this story.
well, this is not my first time to see you. I always see you around. You are a great man of African. Thank you for being part of it.
Thank you very much. One of the most impressive things you said was about MDC being the party that respects the law and always acts in the course of law. I think that now that the Constitution has made a pronouncement that in keeping with MDC's loyalty to law, that you will accept the pronouncement of the Constitution. And in that context, I was also very impressed by what you said about being ready for dialogue. Did I understand you correctly to say that MDC and you, especially as the leader of MDC, are ready for dialogue in order to deal with it?
In fact, we made a resolution, Honorable Secretary General, to say for Zimbabwe to move forward, when the Africans say that says Zanzibar Beza.
in saying that you are a single or abiding party, but at the same time does not respect the pronouncement of the Constitutional Court.
We respect the pronouncement of the Constitutional Court. In fact, as an advocate, I'm an officer of the court. But the Constitutional Court is a court of law and a court of justice. It is not a court of law. Politics is about legitimacy. And our contention is based on legitimacy. We have the right to say that Mr. Mnangagwa, you are not legitimate because of the result we have. Yes, we acknowledge the Constitutional Court. Yes, we have taken note of the verdict. But we also have the right to disagree with the court because it's allowed its permission. It does not subtract from our rule of law instinct and our rule of law character. We continue to be so. But we have a legitimate issue arising out of an election result, which we know by fact and by truth that it did not give Mr. Mnangagwa victory. And I've heard this thing to say, how did Mr. Mnangagwa start get 2 thirds and the party did not get 2 thirds? Even if you look at the vote, a lot of the people who voted for me were voting for that at the parliamentary level in some cases, but they will vote for me in the presidential. So the tally of the presidential, we had more votes than Mr. Mnangagwa. We had half the votes of his parliamentarians, even by the result of that.
Would you agree that internationally that the pronouncement of the highest court in any land is to be respected and accepted by everyone who is loyal?
One has to be honored, it has to be respected. That's why we have said the Constitutional Court has ruled. We acknowledge their decision, but we still have political legitimacy issues that have to be resolved. And they can only be resolved through what we have already alluded to, the issue of political dialogue. And that's why we have insisted that political dialogue is the way forward. And we have put on the table a 5-point plan. This is not the first time that there has been political dialogue in this country. Especially where there is a disjuncture between the part of law and the part of the reality and the facts on the ground. We need to bring the two together. Honorable President Motlanthe, you know how you helped us in Pretoria to try and broker an understanding of how to get out of such a political imbroglio or political situation. That is what we are saying. Going forward, we must be able to resolve the legitimate issues away from the court. We must be able to resolve issues of reform that are comprehensive so that we don't have a repeat and a recurrence of disputes of elections year in, year out, every election cycle. We are reproducing a vicious cycle of negative politics. We want to deal with it. Let us have a path to nation building, a path to peace building. That is what we have put on the table. Mr. Mnangagwa doesn't seem to have appetite for. And that's why we are saying we will then use democratic tools to make sure that we bring in to the negotiating table to resolve the political issues. Such is our position.
Well, my last comment and question is, being a very distinguished lawyer, as you are, and what I have learned more about you,
Thank you.
we will agree that the harmony in any country depends on acceptance and respect for the separation of power, between the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. And the country work best when this separation of power is respected. And so in that context, given that the highest court of the land has made a pronouncement, I would have thought that you will agree that for harmony in this country, that the pronouncement of the highest court should be accepted and respected by everyone. And of course, the point you made about that can take place and should take place. But all within the context of acceptance and respect for the pronouncement of the highest court.
Harmony starts with the truth. Harmony starts with the reality. Harmony starts with the state. Honoring and respecting that there should be no state party conflation the conflation of the party and the state, and the attempt to put the state in this order. Those are fundamental issues that will then require the political reform agenda and the constitutional reform agenda. And that is what we have put on the table. If anything, Mr. Mnangagwa must count himself like one of the chair. That he is such a young Zimbabwean who is Christian. If I were a trigger-happy young man, there would be a problem in this country. But I've tried to be circumspect, careful, and very careful in what I do, what I say, to keep this country in order. I thought we were going to be congratulating you.
What you said, you just described yourself. Because when I had the pleasure of meeting Morgan July in 1998, I formed a very good impression. Sure. And if you are determined to work on his good ground, sure, you should be as you, and I hope as mature as you are.
Thank you very much. That's to also say that, from what you have said, it is important to understand that it's not possible for the one who claims to be the winner to get the losers concerned by force.
I want to just ask one or two things. First of all, going back to the last at the beginning, you said you actually saw one of the people who had been shot the next day on the 2nd of November. Is there one of them that you can talk about?
Oh, thank you, Officer. It was in a hospital because I visited the people. I went to the hospital before addressing the press conference, where I was then calling for peace and harmony. I wanted to make an on-spot assessment of the issue. So I went to the hospital at Karenia. I saw the injured. They told me the Orenga story. In all the stories they told me that they had an encounter with the soldiers. And they already been demonstrated. I went to CSU, where I also met tens of people who were injured on account of what had happened. I actually had to come back to visit this. This was a week before and day after the problem. When I addressed the press conference soon after.
If this person, you can obviously find the evidence of what happened. Did this person tell you anything about how they've been shot? Or the one who was killed and survived later?
Well, I didn't go into the 2 hours, so I was really active. He just told me that his special order had actually been ripped apart, and the bullet was still inside. And I could see that the engine was totally destroyed. And I was really worried that, it was a very safe and sorry sound. So I didn't go into further detail. Other than the fact that he was very optimistic. He was actually saying that, I'm going to kill it, but please come and see me. They want to remove the bullet. The next thing I was told that person had died. Because I didn't want to make a call out just to go and check how they were doing.
And when you worked there before, the day before, from the Home Affairs Minister, this is the first of all of this. At that point, you said you realized there were some problems brewing. Was there anything that you thought at that stage you could have done maybe to intervene, to stop that situation?
Well, Mr. Dixon, at that stage, like I told you, the only thing I could do was to try and raise the youth assembly chairperson, to check if there was an issue. There was nothing as far as we were concerned. So there was nothing that I could do. In fact, I was actually far away. He asked me Where exactly are you, Mr. Chamisa? I told him that I'm actually out of Param in Russia. He said, oh really? Okay, that's fine. And that is evidence, that is a valid. There was nothing that I could do because I didn't know what was happening, who was doing. And I thought that perhaps was just trying to do something so that I would then be invited to a dialogue. But at that point in time, I was under the impression that they want to drive me into something to say, because we had also said, why is Chamisa giving us project? Why can't we just give him money? How much does he want? So that is required. So I was very cautious of calls that would come from across the other side. And I must defend them.
I know we say working on the data questions of the longest. But on your looking at this tutorial, did you think there were people on that day who thought that the results were being pushed out? They were going to get fake results?
Well, I'm not so sure, but I think the whole nation was anxious. The whole nation was armed with what is happening in the past. I'm sure Professor Mazuki and also the equally well, because the issue of the election in 2008, when results were withheld, gave some kind of nostalgia and deja vu on the people of Zimbabwe. Perhaps this is now the repeat of what we've seen before, where results, people knew, because people voted, and people know that the results at a polling station had been completed. The very same day, but the election was not announced on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, only to be announced on Friday at night. Now, I know my colleagues in Zambia, if they had won the election, it was going to be announced midnight on Monday, and there were going to be celebrations, but they knew the result. That's why they took so much time to try and think otherwise. I know of a very honorable member who had to sleep with their shoes on because of this result. But I wouldn't want to go there because it's not necessary.
One last matter, you mentioned the honor and your assessment being very professional.
Sure.
So, I said you mentioned the honor and peace will be generally being very professional. So that politics, there's an announcement you mentioned politics.
Sure.
Is there anything that you can help us with as to what recommendations we may be able to consider on that particular issue? What steps could be taken in the future?
Well, that's a very, thank you, Mr. This is the right question. In fact, the first thing we must do is to remove our military from civilian politics, so that we honor our military as our military. The second thing we must do is to make sure that our Zimbabwe National Army moves away from campaigning for a political party and starts campaigning for Zimbabwe, having nothing to do with political parties. Because at the end of the day, political parties have different persuasions, but they all are fighting, not as an anti-state effort, but to make sure that they reconstitute and transform the state. So I would really urge our colleagues, because I know that in the past and in the previous election, some of the 7 members of our esteemed state institution were actually campaigning for my colleague people. Now, that is a problem. When soldiers campaign for one political party, when we all are supposed to have the equal protection and the security to our sovereignty, because we as the people are the state, and that includes MDC and Zambia. So, moving away from partisan politics would be a very important thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Advocate, I really want to acknowledge the failure to state your recommendation on the way forward. On that way forward, I'm wondering if you have also considered the issue of abuse of women and violence against women, that you should not during the election campaign period. Would this be an issue that you want to speak on with regards to the recommendation for going forward in the country?
Thank you, Doctor. Women are such an important force, but they are also such an important voice. But in this country, there is really a scandal gap of women in their vote. And the greatest form of violence against a woman or women or any citizen is to disregard their vote, as is happening in this case. So in order for us to be able to resolve this going forward, we need to respect the dignity of the woman by allowing more women to be active in politics away from violence sponsored by either the state or by politicians. And it's very important for a lot of political education to go into our politics. And this is why when I assumed the president in my party, I had wanted to meet Mr. Mnangagwa to have ground rules so that we have do's and don'ts. We don't repeat what Mugabe used to do to Mr. Chandra, where you would attack Mr. Chandra, where you would victimize Mr. Chandra. I wanted to agree with Mr. Mnangagwa to say, let's have a political fight, but beyond the fight, let's build our country. Nobody is going to build a country single-handedly. We can build our country together. I'm a young man, but I have a very mature heart. A mature heart to bring this country forward. To bring this country together and move it forward. That is what I've always said. And once we do that, I can tell you that we will have more beautiful flowers blossoming in the garden of our country, by more women involved.
I just want to get over that's why because I'm aware that the experience of 2008 election, so there was an argument that the result would be before within outlined 5 days. But how is this supposed to particularly the broadcast is too much. Actually, the sound are sharing from the police station. The rest is very issues so, if the threats on the floor is the same part that I know himself. So I know that, when you have experience that every day, as long as you was 5 days of your organism, that each day was too long. I want you to suggest how that will be done.
All I would say is, thank you, Honorable President. I think going biometric would be a good solution in terms of the collection of results and validation of results. It would be a good solution on account of the system that has been agreed upon by all the stakeholders, perhaps through a multi-party liaison platform, which platform was not active, by the way, in the previous election. So I suggest that would be one way forward. Another way forward would be to also make sure that we get our army out of verification and validation of the result or participation in electoral results. I think they must just be given the outcome so that we don't have the selectorate replacing the electorate. When I say the selectorate, I mean the securocrats in particular. They are supposed to simply respect what the people they voted for, not massage it. not seek to change or marinate it for certain of the objective. Thank you, Honorable President. I'm sure I did justice to your question. It's very difficult to do justice to Mr. President's question.
Once again, we are honest to everything with no further
Thank you very much. We hope to also provide some disciplines that are going to be very useful, especially just articulating how great that is a problem in front of the President in understanding. When you say that we are going to defend the vote, defending the vote to us is about the integrity of that vote, the sanctity of that vote, and it's a constitutional provision. So we also provide disciplines to contextualize some of our submissions to the Commission. And I must say, the misgivings we have of the Commission, we hold our own because we trust the integrity of commissioners in terms of the final product to help Zimbabweans move forward. We have suffered a lot, and we really want to find an answer and finality to the problems that face our people. And for us to be able to do this commission will be very useful in giving markers and indication of how this will be done. Now, I want to thank you for the time. I will take it lightly. I know that you're going to fly all the way from South Africa today in time for this. Well, but the effort is to be appreciated in front of the President. I also want to appreciate the Chief. It's not very easy for the Chief to make the subject. To come and preside over such an important we really appreciate this. Thank you in honor of those who face the good life and their families. We hope that this is going to give some kind of solace, the catharsis, and the healing effect so that they are able to live the heavy life. They are able to stop violence and so forth. But may God bless you. Thank you very much for seeing the commission.
Right, things are coming.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome back. That was Advocate Nelson Chamisa when he was presenting his oral evidence before the Motlanthe Commission. Due to political affiliation, people they don't exactly get along quite well because of their different political affiliations. And he also said that according to him, with regards to the shootings of the 1st of August, he said that he spoke when the MDC spoke of defending the vote. He said he spoke in the context of an election. Thus imply he wouldn't have sent people to the streets. Obviously, he's saying he made the comment because the elections were not yet announced, so he wouldn't have known if he had lost or won. So, according to him, it doesn't make sense if the commission says that he's the one that sent people to go out in the street. Also, he mentioned the fact that Section 9 of our Constitution gives every citizen and every individual that you guys have. What you think on what Advocate Nelson Chamisa said. I just told you the highlights of what he said. He also mentioned that dialogue is the only way to go for Zimbabwe as a nation. The only way forward is to have political dialogue. He says that as the MDC, they do respect the highest court, which is the CONCOURT. They do respect the decision that was made, but they also disagree. As Advocate Nelson Chamisa said, he said that it is allowed constitutionally for one to deny, I have Emmanuel here. He's saying that they were brilliant. I'm not sure who Emmanuel is referring to as they were brilliant, but anyway, keep on. I hope you guys can hear me, so keep on engaging in the conversations. So some of the comments that we received earlier, I'm just gonna give a rundown of them. I have Emmanuel here. He's saying that they
okay. Okay, so these are some of the comments that people have left on our YouTube page. The first one is from Kosana. He said, Tinoda President Nero, and Blessing says, don't tell me. No, sorry about that. He says, Ratizo Boma said Mudzuringai and Atimude. I don't know what that has to do with the commission, but please comment, tell us some of these comments. Volume please. Not sure if you can hear me now. Emmanuel says that the army must go back to the barrack was mentioned, and sound is clear. Thank you very much. Hitler, I have Hitler. Hi Hitler. Please do comment. Please do comment. Keep your comments coming. Richard says, I'm glad that Mr. Chamisa is agreeing to a dialogue. For the nation to move forward, we really need that. Question when it comes to the political dialogue is that what exactly, Richard, what do you think is... What then happens? Say they do discuss this 5-point plan. What is actually going to happen? What's the way forward? You know, because I believe that as a nation we have been through this quite a long time, and it's high time that we move on. Richard, if you still feel the echo in my background,
is the way forward when they have
and
dialogue. And of course, Mr. Chamisa said that they have...
Please, quick. Think the commission asked the appropriate questions to Advocate Chamisa and Mr. Biti, because what you think if it was a proper never going to be about the GNU, they do not want, I think he has mentioned that quite often. He said that as a party they will not accept a GNU, but rather they will accept this political dialogue between the MDC and the president. So it goes back to the question that I asked earlier on, that what then will be the political dialogue about? Will they tell the president their 5-point plan? Of course, let's just say they do tell the president their 5-point plan. What is the next step as the opposition? What do they really think is going to happen after? Okay, so Maxwell says that the commission was indeed fair today. So he thinks that the commission was fair. And of course, everyone, I believe that people have various interpretations, and they have different ways of seeing it. Because, like I mentioned earlier on, Advocate Nelson Chamisa was saying that he would have loved for the commission to ask him who he thinks shot the people on the 1st of August. Young Kuzi says that commission inoita investigation yezvinhu zvaitwa masikati vanhu vachiona muiti wazvo. Ko itai dzamara aripi ndo investigation atiri kuda. So you guys, what do you think about what Young Kuzi is saying? He's saying that the commission, how can the commission investigate things that everyone saw and the evidence was there? And how about Itai Zamara? You know, no one knows his whereabouts. So that's what he's saying. Thank you, Young Kuzi, for your comment. So please continue writing, commenting, so that we engage more in this discussion. The other thing that that's the MDC leader also said was that the legitimacy issue, it sort of like adds to the political dialogue. He said that the legitimacy issue should be addressed away from the courts. That's what Advocate Chamisa said. Of course, the court being when we're looking at, the law, will then it be feasible for them to then discuss and settle the issue away from the courts when the highest court of the land actually ruled that the president had won the elections? So tell me, guys, what you think, besides the Sadza and Jecha. Okay, so we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to resume this discussion as we look further into the implications of what Advocate Nelson Chamisa was saying to the Commission of Inquiries. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in on TechMag TV. We continue to discuss on what the advocate Nelson Chamisa said at the Commission of Inquiries. So I have quite a number of comments here. God knows says that Yankuzi, okay, we read that from Yankuzi. Okay, Sarudzai said, Kokukwira kwezvinhu muZimbabwe nenyaya ye-bond. Are they going to fix all the problems in our country? I don't know, Sarudzai, are you making reference to the current government, or are you making reference to the opposition party? Kuti, who is going to fix the problems of this country? If you elaborate that. But from what I understand, I think you're directing this question to the opposition. Well, basically what the 5-point plan that Advocate Chamisa has spoken about, it's meant to address every single problem. According to him, it will address and it will give Zimbabwe a turnaround in every aspect, economically, politically, and in every facet, basically, of every Zimbabwean life. That's what he says. So if I wouldn't know exactly, but according to him, he says his 5-point plan is quite legit and it will solve problems. So in the event that he's given, and I quote from what his supporters and following say, Majigis anonzinte ake, you know, so he says that yes, he could fix the problems in the country. That is according to him, of course. Obedience Moya says, I hope the commission will make a fair judgment in the end. I think this is what every Zimbabwean out there hopes for, you know, that at least the commission should do a good job. And if there's anyone who is caught unwanting or on the wrong side of the law, they should be arrested, you know, because people died, and there were obviously people that contributed to that. Brenda Chidada says, another commission of inquiry to investigate the 2008 genocide. That's the Gukura Hundi. So Brenda is basically saying that there should be another commission of inquiries that is set to, discuss these issues that happened in 2008. Sorry, in 2008 genocide. That's when. Sorry, I mixed issues. 2008. That's when the political violence that Mr. BT was mentioning. When some opposition party supporters were assaulted and some of them allegedly disappeared. Langelihle Mtembo, I wish to hear the commission asking Chiwenga about his words saying nobody is going to rule if you didn't go to war. Okay, so that's how Langelihle feels. Sylvester Chino says, Hansi Checha Musad. Some questions, so. Elton says, is ZANU going to fix my future? I'm 20 years old, need a job, money, what is the government doing about it? So this is another problem that Elton has. Nigel says that it is a norm. It's a norm now because we know Kuti ZANU PF will always use violence. Even history has it that ZANU PF employed its incumbent gain to subdue regime change, draconian press laws, and clamp down by the way of the incumbent party on opposition activities were characterized of its use of the incumbent advantage. ZANU PF made use of brutality and violence which pressured the MDC into backing down, like in the elections of 2008. Violence mainly forced the opposition president Morgan Tsvangirai to withdraw from elections in spite of strict advice from a few political advisors and individuals of the MDC-T party itself. Oh, this is to indicate how brutal ZANU PF is and will always get away with it. So that is Nigel. Thank you very much, Nigel, for your comment. So that's how Nigel feels. I have Moses here. Moses says nothing positive will come out of this commission, which was set by the ruling party. They are just wasting time and playing with our minds. A lot of people they have had issues with that as well, especially leaders in the opposition party when they were saying, in particular, Advocate Nelson Chamisa has said that how can you put someone on a job to investigate you? So that has been his argument ever since. And Blissmore says, Mai Manyeruke's questions are lame for a professional. I'm ashamed that she is the dean of our faculty. Okay, that's how Blissmore feels. Thank you very much for those comments. So we're hearing a lot of how people are feeling with regards to the commission. So the thing is that I've noticed that some of these comments, people are not quite happy, but I feel like in as much as we can have different opinions and we can be politically affiliated differently, it's also good, it's good to agree to disagree, if it makes sense. You have your own opinion. It's constructive, it's very healthy. So we have our call-in line. So if you want to call us, if you want to talk to us, there's a number on your screen. So you can call us and you can tell us what you think or what you feel or what you think. Let's just probably, if we can talk about the outcome of the commission itself, like what do you think is going to be the outcome of the commission? Will it be fair? Will it be because there has been a lot of finger pointing and like it's not fair already. So please call us on the call line that is on the screen. Call us and talk to us and tell us what you feel. Okay, so Rambai here says, Nero, you have made us proud. Bryson says, our fathers were born under the ruling party, died, so we are supposed to die too. No. Cosmo says, military ndio iriku mira iriku. Okay, I don't know what that was supposed to be. Christopher says, Zim is a residential state. Thank you so much for those comments. So please do not forget to call us. The number is on the screen. Okay, so there's an incoming call there. Caller number 1, hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, caller number 1, can you hear me? Hello? Unfortunately, we have lost that caller. Please try again. Caller number 1, we apologize for what just happened. I think it's just a bad reception. Caller number 1, hello?
Hello?
Caller number 1, hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello? Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me? So apparently we're having bad reception, terrible reception. We're trying to work on it. So we'll just, okay. Our caller is trying to call us again. Caller number 1, hello?
Hello?
Hello? What? Can you hear me? Today is a terrible day for reception. Oh, tell number on the screen, please. Okay, you want the number on the screen. We'll put the number on the screen shortly. Caller number 1, hello? I cannot hear anything. Caller, hello? Okay. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna try and fix this network issue. Okay, we'll take a short break, and when we come back we'll continue and resume with our calls. Oh, our caller, before we go to a break, our caller just called. Caller, hello? Hello? Okay, we're gonna take a short break, and when we come back we're gonna resume with our calls. Can you It turns out you guys can hear me, but I cannot hear you because I can tell from the comments. So if you can, please try call us again. That's the call, our call number on the screen. Try calling us so that we can have a discussion and on how you feel on what just happened. All right, so we are waiting on you. Some of the comments that when we went offline a bit, it was, Chamisa is a barking dog. He has no direction. We are done with the elections, but he still insists, ndakabirwa, ndakazodai, ngakure. Okay, that's Alphonse Machakata. Okay, so Alphonse feels that, it's been a while. The elections were announced, and so why is he still telling people that he still won the election when when it was done through the law, when it was announced that he had lost the election? So okay, I'll answer call. Okay, so the other comment is, okay, someone just retracted their comment there. Presenter, we can hear you guys calling you clearly. Seems it's you who can't hear properly. Oh yeah, my apologies for that, guys. Please keep it coming. Okay, so Blessmore says that Verse Maduku na Manyeruke were not supposed to be part of the commission. There obviously is bound to be bias towards ZANU-PF, especially from Professor Manyeruke's side. Mind you, she is a ZANU-PF card holder. So that has been an issue of concern of the members that are sitting on the commission itself. Many people have argued that the commission was supposed to be sort of it was not supposed to have a side, because throughout the commission there has been terms that insinuate as if the investigation itself has come to an end, terms, conclusive terms, and that shows that they have already reached a decision based on their investigation whilst the investigation is still going. So this has also has been an issue of concern. So Myros says that you want to accept the rigged elections. Jason says the whole commission is captured. So that's what everyone is saying. Josiah says the commission was not to have a side. So I think Mudozori and Blessmore, they agree on that. The commission was not supposed to have a side. It was not supposed to have any interest to actually put it in. Okay, caller, hello. We've just lost that caller, so please continue trying to call us. Apparently our network is so bad and it's so terrible, but please continue to talk to us, and let's hear what you think on the commission and what you think can be done better. Were you satisfied with what happened today? Do you think there are some shortfalls? Blessing says that, well done, Professor Maduku. We sincerely hope that UZ authority replaces Professor Manyeruke with Professor Maduku, as seen by the commission's reactions. Langelishe comes back and says, I'm asking why ZBC goes off when Mr. Chamisa was to give part of his story. ZANU thinks that they will rule until the Messiah comes down. Sorry for old Madalas. Alan says these people should know that no one can run away from the truth. All the events will come to reality soon, very soon. So that's what.
Thank you very much, Michael Chibondo, for your contribution. Apparently, I couldn't hear the caller. That's why I kept on saying hello. But if you could hear me, that means it was on my part. My apologies. Another comment here is: in the meantime, we must stop comparing the Concord and the Commission of Inquiry. That's Nigel. Nigel, talk to me. Why are you saying that we must stop comparing the Concord and the Commission of Inquiry? Of course, I understand that the roles of these institutions, they are different completely. Yes, I do agree there. But they are both bodies that were created, to give. I'll say for the Concord, they are supposed to give a ruling. And the Commission of Inquiry, at the end of the day, they are supposed to compile a report which, according to them, they will give an account of who they think is responsible for this, for the August 1 shooting. So I would say at the end of the day, when it comes to results, they are probably almost the same, of course not particularly, but their role is to deliver results. And at the end of the day, they will determine which part is wrong and which one is correct. Lloyd Motsi says, ZANU, it's ZANU, and it will never change. They will always deny what they did. Thank you very much, Lloyd. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you, Temba. Well done, Professor Maduku. That's what he feels. So continue. Please try calling us again on the number on the screen. We're about to close this live chat. I'll read another comment from Austin. Austin says, Commission was supposed to also bring all the people who were implicated, including the ZANU-PF Presidium members who were implicated. Okay, I get your comment. They were supposed to bring all the ZANU-PF members who were implicated. Unfortunately, this is what I was telling you. That do you think this was a fair trial? Was everyone who was supposed to be called and asked, were they there? So Trevor Makiwa says, God is in it. The truth is known by everyone. Soldiers killed people. This is the results. Thank you, TechMec TV. Thank you so much, Trevor. Tine Tyro says that this is called politics. The current situation is a reality. Is the reality? There are economic crisis, price rise, case shortages. The Commission is there to divert the attention of the nation from the reality. I also understand what Blessmore is saying. Hello? Yes, caller, can you hear me? Okay, so the last comment that we read was, this is called politics. The current situation is to divert. So according to Blessing, he is saying that the Commission is here to divert the attention of the nation from reality. It kind of reminds me of how the French, why there was never a revolution against the capitalists, from back in the day, when they said that TV was used to divert people's focus on real issues, yet they will focus on something else. So I understand it's a very interesting idea that Blessing is bringing up. Hello? Yes.
We have a lot of challenges we are facing as a nation.
Yes.
They know that the nation is focused on the challenges. Now they simply want to change the whole picture. We stop focusing on the real issues affecting our lives as Zimbabweans. And we waste the time on a commission which they have sponsored to bring out results in their favor, not to bring about the reality. I really think as Zimbabweans we should just open our eyes and see what's before us.
So what would you suggest that your fellow Zimbabweans would do given the circumstances?
All I'm telling people is that we should just simply stop focusing on the commission, because the truth is it's never going to come up with something that is productive or as we expect. It's never going to solve anything, because we all know the truth. Who shot these people? We all know who sent them. The president is the commander-in-chief of the defense forces, so he cannot claim to have no influence over them. That's the whole truth.
Okay, thank you so much, caller. Thank you for your contribution.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, bye. Okay, so the caller that we just had said that this is a sham of a commission. Basically what he's saying is that he does not agree, and he feels that there is never going to be any... Okay, we have another, sorry for that. Caller, hello?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you? Caller, hello? Sir, are you still there?
Yep.
Yes, good evening.
Hi.
Please tell us your contribution.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm alright, thanks. Thank you for calling TechMac TV.
Yeah, this is Witness here, out in Ireland, okay?
Thank you, Witness, for calling us all the way from Ireland. So tell us your contribution. What do you think about today's commission?
Today's commission, now, first of all, it's about the commission. I don't know if people understand the function and the purpose of a commission. It's a lot of chaos out there. When we are watching you guys from overseas, we don't kind of seeing people with reasonability as far as commissions are concerned.
Okay.
So the first thing that people really need to understand in Zimbabwe, for the way that the things are set up, you need to respect structures, number one, and number two, you come with a line of order. It's not a point scoring event. It is not just a gathering of certain individuals in support of another individual. And remember, if you are requested to appear before a commission as a witness, you're not an accuser.
Okay, but do you also admit to the concerns that are being raised by people? That, of course, in as much as the commission is a structure, but it's sort of biased. That's what some concerns that people are raising. Do you agree with that?
It all depends. When you say bias, what do you mean? Because bias in favor of who and by who? Number one, if a respected member of a committee is set up there, it does not matter what your opinion is on that individual. You are supposed to be a witness who will tell an account of why you are there. You're not there to digress in understanding the character of this commissioner and all that. And secondly, we say bias. It means the other person whom we think should have been on that commission did not show interest to be in that commission, and we don't know that. So if you hear some court, this is not a trial of a judicial court. Nobody's allowed to clap hands, and this is extremely important for people to get a record of what happened and how it happened and why it happened, and then to make a recommendation of stopping that from happening.
Okay, but if I may pose a question to you, sir.
Yes, please.
Do you think that, what is your view, if I should say, what is your view when it comes to the sitting itself, like the people that are there at the commission, that are asking the questions, at the commission of inquiries? Because there has been a lot of dispute, I would say, where people feel like, why would you put someone who is a card holder?
Oh my gosh.
Why would you put them to be
I'm
part
losing you there.
of an investigation of this of the August 1 shootings?
Hello?
What is your take on that?
Hello? Nah, it's gone. Can you hear me? If we can still hear you, I've lost you completely.
Can you hear me?
I'll try and call again, okay? If you can hear me.
All right. So that was caller. Please continue calling. I would say that I could hear the last caller.
Hello?
So if you can, please call us back. That would be very nice. So whilst we wait
but
for
I
our
cannot
caller
hear
to
you.
call us back, we'll go on a short break. Hello? Yes.
Good evening. Oh my God, these lines are really.
Just hold on for a second. Hello? Okay, our caller is gone. Caller, please, if you can hear me, can you please call us back? I could hear you. Unfortunately, you couldn't hear me. So, from what our last caller was saying, he was saying that, irregardless, they shouldn't comment about questioning the legitimacy of the commission itself. Okay, I'm receiving another call. Hello? Unfortunately, we lost our caller. So we will take that break as intended earlier on. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, hopefully our lines will now be open so that we can talk to our last caller that has been who has been trying to call us. Caller, hello? I'm alright, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes,
yeah, you know the story here is
yes.
Yeah, it looks like the MDC people think that the commission is biased towards the ZANU-PF, isn't it?
Yes, that's what is being alleged.
Their own
yes.
commission of inquiry and give out their own findings at the end of the day.
Sorry, come again, sir?
I want to say, they are saying, MTC people are saying the commission appointed by the president is biased towards ZANU-PF, isn't it?
Yes.
Like as they always do, why can't they form their own commission and then at the end of the day give their own findings? Because it looks like they have perceived findings that they want to come out of this commission.
Okay, so according to you, are you saying that it's not an issue that there are card holders, ZANU-PF card holders on the commission?
It can be an issue, but who is submitting information to the commission?
Of course, but the commission ends up determining every move that is made, who is called and who is left out. Unfortunately, I lost our caller there. Yes. So we'll take a short break, a real short break now, and we'll come back and we'll finish off our conversation on what you think on the Commission of Inquiries.
their testimony to a commission that cannot be trusted, to a commission that has already made a decision, initially had taken a back step into the whole process. But as things unfolded, obviously we also saw quite a very, should I say, disturbing occurrence when BT came in. You see, BT literally disparaged the whole commission. I think the only person that did not dismantle there was the Commissioner Motlanthe himself, whereby he went all the way to say that the other British envoy or commissioner also had an experience with deal with governments, and that intended that he was more or less of a recommendation from the Zimbabwean army, or he could have been having links with the army, as he told us that he's in his personal capacity he runs a company or an association that deals with the supplying of army to governments, weaponry to governments. And also we saw the other judge, and you know how he dismantled commissioner by commissioner, mentioning issues that through. But also there was quite an interesting dramatic shift when Nelson Chamisa came through. He spoke and mentioned that he trusted and he had faith in the commission, and that they would do a good job, which was quite a very unusual shift, from the MDC leader. So it was quite a bit of dramatic and interesting. But I think more interestingly, it was a public hearing which they had to all put through their input, and they had that day in the public court, and they were heard. And I strongly feel that it is within the interest of everyone that their inputs were publicly heard, and they are all hoping and looking out to an input that drives Zimbabwe forward. I think this has been my opinion, and obviously I think highly likely the top guns have all managed to put through their inputs, and Chamisa, as we all heard, he challenged the commission as well to say, if my name has been mentioned and I've been brought here through mentioning, he also challenged the commission to also call in Emerson Mnangagwa as the commander-in-chief pertaining the issue of the army, which he then threw as well. So obviously it remains within the commission whether or not they're going to be calling through also Emerson Mnangagwa or Vice President Chiwenga to also come through and bring their testimony. So basically this has been the major highlight of what has been happening today. And finally we'll have to await the commission, which officially finishes their tenure on the 19th of December, if I'm not mistaken. That's when they should then come back to Zimbabwe to say, well, this is what we've managed to get as far as our commission, as far as our inquiry is concerned as a commission. They will then have to appear again publicly before Zimbabwe to say, this is what we've managed to figure out. So I think basically this could be putting down the curtains to the whole inquiry, or also maybe this may call in through the commander-in-chief, who is President Emerson Mnangagwa, to also come through and give his input.
Okay, what I find particularly interesting from what has been said and what was said today was Advocate Nelson Chamisa earlier addressing the press at some time back. He said that in particular the Secretary General Douglas Monzora said that their president, who is Advocate Chamisa, would not be a partaker in a play that he does not know the outcome. So which means that by then they had already questioned the, how legitimate the commission is as a body, as an investigative body. So now then saying today that
he does respect the commission. Isn't it like he's saying stuff and then he's taking it back? He's saying stuff, and which will leave people confused. Like, which side is he really standing on? Him respecting the commission, does it mean that he will accept the results of the investigation?
Well, that's a very good and very tricky question, which only Nelson Chamisa can answer. I strongly feel that personally I was shocked to see him appearing before the commission, because initially they, as a party, they'd already discredited the whole commission. They've already discredited the composition of the whole commission, so to say. And for them now to then appear before the same commission, your question is, will they then accept the outcome of it? I'll strongly tell you that they will not accept the outcome of the commission if the outcome is not favorable. We have seen a repeat of the same process. This has happened already twice this year. First and foremost, we saw the MDC getting into an election which they were initially doubting, and they also did not find credible as far as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, is concerned, to say, well, we are getting into an election, but we do not have faith in the people who are administering this whole election. And after they said the same messages, they still went on, they went ahead and they contested the same elections, which they then disputed the outcome of it thereof. That was number one. Number two, we saw the same MDC as well getting through the electoral challenge. When they challenged through the Constitutional Court the victory that ED had won, still they had the same reservation when the MDC openly said that they do not trust, neither do they have faith in the courts. But we saw the same parties were going through the same courts to say, well, we are challenging it. So I think there are two sides of this whole story. I think the first side is that saying we are legal practitioners, we have to give a chance to the legal systems that the countries already have. I think, to put it clearly, then there's the other side, which would rather say that this is not the legal side of how they are fighting their battles, which is the political side. They can say, well, fair and fine, the Constitutional Court may have decided against us, in as much as the ZEC may have pronounced results against us. These are the legal structures that they should be they should abide unto. So I think, as a political party as well, they are constitutionally mandated to be doing that. But then there's a flip side of this whole battle, where they say, okay, fair and fine, we can go through the legal channels, but then there's another channel which they call the political channel, which the MDC is also challenging politically, to say, well, we are still going to fight you, we are still going to be contesting this politically. So I think we saw both sides of this warfare coming through.
Okay, so we're going to take a call. We're receiving a call. Caller, hello?
Hello, caller. We are having a bit of some issues with our call-ins through, so we'll see how best we can try and... Hello, yes, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Moderator.
Ayo, Chiribo, magadizo nyi baba?
Excellent. Ndikuzwa mukutawanya kuti MDC amboti apotoenda apotoregera. I think mazowena topindula enyumega kuti constitutionally they follow the constitution. And vakanyorwa tamba the commission. Kana chiwanyorwa tamba the commission, because commission is just like a court or something like that. You have to follow that. That's exactly what they've done. Otherwise, if they don't go there, they will break into law. So just like what you say.
Is the commission a legal? Is the commission a legal apparatus of the law, or this is just an inquiry which does not have any legal implication? Were they legally bound to appear before the commission, if I may to ask?
It is illegal, just like you know, parliament. If it is legal, very, very legal. That's why they went there. If it was looking,
I think Mbofuka is a member of the parliament. Gasaga Mbofu Obed Mbofaka is a member of the parliament. Saga Pamtemo ane right yeguriputa ku parliament rimwechete nokuti Obed Mbofu a member of the parliament. But the commission is that.
No, what I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is when you are called, you can be called to parliamentary committee.
Oh, we are so sorry. We have lost that caller. Please, caller, if you can still hear us, we'll definitely appreciate you calling us back at this moment in time, so that we get to converse and discuss these issues. But I guess he was saying that in a nutshell, you are saying that he was legally obliged to appear before this commission. So yes, we sincerely apologize for that, caller. We just having a bit of a technical issue over the numbers that you're calling us through. So yes, if you can still hear us loud and clear, we would definitely appreciate having you back on our live call. Over to you, Nico.
Yes, so earlier, before we took, actually I think we would make reference to what the caller just said. The caller, according to the caller who just spoke to us, he said that the MDC, because we're talking about it, the MDC are forced to attend the commission because they are law-abiding, because it's the law. And also, Tonio, if I got you correctly, your argument was, is it really illegal not to?
Because it's not the court of law. It's just a commission. It's a public commission which was appointed, yes, by the president. But does it necessarily mean that it is a legal standing to say you have broken the law, you did not appear before a commission? Because the commission is not a constitutional court, neither is it a legal court where they were bound to be appearing. I strongly think, unless if I need to be educated otherwise, that it does not have any legal binding for them. It's an issue of an open inquiry. That's why you also saw that during the inquiry that the inquiry of this commission does not even have a legal binding, so to say. It's more or less of people who are trying to investigate and find the truth behind the matter. So it's only a matter of choice for you to actually swear under oath or under the Bible. Neither are the findings of the same court criminally implicating. So I really don't know about the effects of you not appearing before such a commission, whether or not it's legally binding. But I think it's just out of respect of the commission to say, well, in the interest of Zimbabweans and Zimbabwe to move on, let's appear before the same constitution so that we can get it on.
Okay, so I think one more issue that was addressed was that, wasn't it, there were concerns that sort of what Advocate Chamisa and his supporters did, the dancing and, you know, the ululating, and they were saying that it was rather barbaric and they were not expecting something like that from a man of his stature. So I wouldn't know if
a man of his stature did not do that. I was watching. These were supporters who were ululating. Chamisa didn't ululate. Supporters did ululate. So I don't think that Chamisa is to be held responsible for the supporters ululating. I think it would be very, very unfair for anyone to say, well, your supporters were ululating, so that's barbaric on the president. We did not see at any one point where he said, you guys, you should ululate once I speak. So yeah, before the commission, yes, definitely we would have expected much more order. I know we had individuals that it's not necessary for us to actually mention their names, who were literally shouting insults, especially against Professor Manyeruge. But I think it would be very unfair to blame the president for such behavior, because these were individuals who were given clearance to be in the auditorium. So I strongly feel that the president is not answerable to that. But if anybody had issues with that, I think then that this should be the people, the perpetrators themselves. So yeah, I think trying to pick up some few callers here.
Hello?
Caller, greetings. Oh, unfortunately, we have lost that one. Well, I had to quickly just join your live show that you guys have been having here. I strongly feel that it's key and it's important for us as Zimbabweans to converse around issues that affect us. And in the next few minutes, we have to call it a day. for all those guys who've been calling through, and those, I think we're just going to be taking one more last caller before we call it a wrap. So yes, definitely, that's been our input and our observation. So we are basically just sharing this, not necessarily as lawyers or as law practitioners, but as Zimbabweans from watching from the sidelines of the developments that have been happening today. So I think for me that has been my observation, and I understand that this is not a very simple decision, specifically for the MTC to then finally appear before the same commission they had previously ravaged and spoken heavily against. But I also feel that they strongly feel that they owed it to the nation, and I think out of respect of Motlanthe, they felt they had to appear and they had to say their side of the story, regardless of the outcome, whether or not it's going to be favorable or not. But I also feel that in a way they've also legitimized the whole operation by them appearing before this inquiry. So I think it's been a catch 50-50. Caller, greetings. Hello, caller, how are you? Work is alright, so far so good. Thank you so much for taking your time to call us through. You are our last lucky caller. Oh, we have lost that one. Our apologies.
But thank you for calling, caller. Apparently we have lost our caller. So what
we'll just try and make sure that we give you a separate number specifically for this one. Please do not call this number outside broadcasting time. We would appreciate, so that we keep broadcasting calls on this broadcasting session. This number is just specifically for this broadcast. Do not call it outside broadcasting moments. So to the last caller we've just cut off, our apologies. You can please try and call us on the new number we've just put up on the screen, so that we converse. We are going to be looking out at the last caller before we call this show a wrap. Back to you, Nico.
Okay, so as part of our discussion, my concern is largely on what attending, I'll direct this to you, Tonio. Attending the commission as MDC, as the leader of MDC, won't that make the whole process legitimate? You know, like, of course, in as much as they'll say, no, it's biased and everything, like the same reason why there was a lot of confusion around the Concord. Like, you went into the election, even if you knew that the election was not in complete shape, it was not in good shape, but you still, regardlessly, you went through with it, which means that you sort of agreed to the terms and conditions that were on the table. So won't we have that situation again with the Motlanthe Commission, where they will say, you know, you once said you were not going to attend because it was not fair, it was not a fair platform, and then you then attended. And then it then comes back to, you know, the opposition always being crybabies if they do not get their way. Even if they do raise fair points, but I believe a no is a no and a yes should be a yes.
Definitely. I can't help but agree with you there that I think somewhere, I think the MDC as well is a bit in a decision-making crisis, whether or not they should do this and that. Then finally, you know, we see them somersaulting on a certain decision. But like we rightfully say that I think legally the constitutional obligation to appear before the commission so as to fulfill a certain part of that mandate. I think they felt that they owed it out of respect and out of legal need for them to fully appear. So yeah, it definitely must have been a very difficult decision for them to come through. And then also the bigger question is, are we also not going to see them again coming out guns blazing and saying that we do not legitimize the commission, neither do we accept their outcome? This is a very difficult situation for them to then look at this commission after they make results which could probably incriminate them. Are they going to be able to come out and then accept it as well? Definitely not. I'm sure if we have to take it back from what Chamisa said in his first few statements, he said that he's coming and he's appearing before the commission out of a heavy heart and out of protest. So I think that's a statement enough to say, well, I'm coming through, but I'm not also entirely pleased with the whole process. And BT obviously came out guns blazing. He literally raised the whole commissioners except Motlanthe. So for him, he's definitely saying, well, I'm coming through as a Zimbabwean, I'm coming through as a law-abiding citizen, I'm coming through just to follow up on the proceedings, but I do not even accept, neither do I legitimize the commission. So if it's an issue of legitimacy, I think the MDC has done themselves also a favor of already saying, you know what, we are appearing, but you guys, we strongly feel that you are not legitimate for us to be appearing before you. So that's the catch 55 that they had. So by them appearing, they've also managed to exonerate themselves to say, we are definitely appearing as law-abiding citizens, but our appearance does not legitimize the commission, as we have all had speak after speak. I think there were topic of people like Professor Manyeruka, whom they said that they should not be part of the commission because of the alignment to the ruling party. So I think basically they've been answering that part as well. But the biggest question is then, if they do not really legitimize them, why did they appear? Yeah, and that's a question they've already answered. So it's a 50-50. We've been going round and round in that cycle, but also I feel that there's a political and the legal side to this whole matter, so to say.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Tonio, for joining me today in the studio, and thank you to all of our viewers that came through to this discussion, the comments, the calls. Unfortunately, we were not able to talk to some of the callers that we had, but thank you so much for the effort. Regardless, we want to thank our team behind the scenes for doing a stellar job in making all of this happen. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good evening.
Anita